So recently, a conservative politician, I believe he was in the Senate, was attempted. It was an attempted shooting. Now, the shooter didn't succeed, and he is currently dead, which I am happy for. However, how did a prominent conservative YouTuber, like, say, Paul Joseph Watson, react to this? A. The exact same way he reacted to Manchester, where he waited about 7 hours and then found a way to shove his own political agenda in it while emotions were still really high in an attempt to manipulate everyone. Or B, there is no B because A is what actually happened again. Now, in Paul's video, it's not a video I can really break down. It's only about 3.5 minutes, so I'm going to link it in the description. But in Paul's video, he says, what if it was an InfoWars thing? Because if you don't know, the man had a Facebook profile where he was very anti-Trump. He believed a lot of the Russian conspiracy theories. And by the way, I'm Paul. When you work for InfoWars, I wouldn't recommend using the term conspiracy theory negatively. Just saying. What else? He was a Bernie Sanders supporter. He had Bernie Sanders as, I believe, his Facebook banner. And he listed his favorite TV shows as... His favorite shows were Last Week Tonight, which is a very liberal show. Nightly Show, which again is very democratic, very left-wing. Democracy Now! Not all that familiar with them, but they appear to be very left-wing. The Ed Show, which I've downright never heard of. Rachel Maddow, which is on MSNBC, and it's a very left-wing network. Daily Show, again, very, very left-wing show. And Real Time with Bill Maher, which is, again, very left-wing. Now, Paul asks, what if it was an InfoWars fan? What do you think the media would have been pushing? Well, first off, InfoWars has pushed more conspiracy theories than most of those other shows, possibly combined. Again, Paul, InfoWars is ran by Alex Jones, the man who has said Sandy Hook was fake. The man who has said 9/11 was an inside job by the government. Famously, he said that on 9/11. I'm not even making that up. He has said Google is owned by Satan. And has said that fluoride turns frogs gay. Alex Jones has actually gone on his show and said the government puts chemicals in water that turn frogs gay. I have not heard something that insane. I've not heard that many type of... I can say what you will about the Russian conspiracy theories. They have at least some basis. You know, things like that. No. You know, but... So first off, it being an InfoWars fan might actually end up making it look worse in the end. But, you know, let's say it was an InfoWars fan. In fact, we'll go even further. Let's say this man also... along with watching InfoWars, we'll make him go even more extreme. We'll say he also was huge in Fox News. He had a lot of episodes of Hannity recorded, and he had all the O'Reilly factors when he was on the air. He watched Tucker Carlson, things like that. He watched Steven Crowder all the time, and even joined the Mug Club thing. We'll say he read Breitbart constantly, and that was one of his favorite news sources. And we'll even say this man had bought multiple books from people like Ann Coulter, you know, and Bill O'Reilly and other farther right people. We'll say that was the shooter. Okay, and he went out and shot people like Elizabeth Warren, or Bernie Sanders, or Ro Khanna. Now, at the same time, let's say that the left, so you seem to think the left is one big entity. I don't. We'll say some of the people you mentioned, people like Oliver, people like Maddow, people like Noah, went on the air and said, yeah, This is what right-wing extremism leads to, and this is why it's dangerous, which, by the way, Paul, in your video, you say the media made him this way. You actively say it was violence in left-wing media that turned this man into a serial killer. Or not a serial killer, an attempted shooter. My bad. We'll say that, because that's what you said in the video, which, by the way, what are you trying to say? Your free speech rights are dangerous, Paul? Is that what you're saying? But let's say my hypothetical was the actual man. I bet you the next day Alex Jones would come on air, who, again, is the person you work for, Paul. You are pretty much the second biggest person in InfoWars behind Alex Jones. Even in some circles, I'd argue you're bigger than Alex Jones. But I bet you people like Alex Jones, and possibly even you, and a few others, would go on air and call this a false flag attack. Because remember, Alex Jones is the man who called Sandy Hook, which had no political motivation behind it, a false flag attack. Do you really think he wouldn't be willing to call something like this a false flag? No. I don't think... I think he'd be going on air and calling it a false flag within an hour. Either that, or you people would find some way to blame liberalism. Because that's what you people do. You guys find ways to blame liberalism when the far-right authoritarian religion of Islam commits terrorist attacks. You guys, I don't see how you would find... You'd probably find some way like, oh, liberals made him feel unsafe in this society. Or they indoctrinate him. Yeah, remember that? Remember that excuse Santorum pulled in 2012 when all those Catholic priests were revealed to molest kids? It was like, oh, it's liberalism that's making them do this. Or they'd say, oh, no, you see, it was deserved because they were indoctrinating kids. Or, remember Glenn Beck, a conservative radio show host, found ways to excuse Anders Breivik. I think you people would find some way to blame liberalism and blame leftism. Oh, they made him feel unsafe. Oh, you see, they kept They kept saying that they were going to attack him, so they did. Oh, they said he thought they were going to take his guns away. Yeah, that's what happened, the gun control legislation. He said, oh yeah, I'm going to take the bullet. Things like that. But, and you know what? Let's say that Oliver and Noah and all those other liberal commentators said, oh, well, this is, the fault of conservatism. And that's not what happened, and you guys didn't call it a false flag. I bet you would go on air, Paul, and call that disgusting. And you know what? I would agree with you 100%. However, that rule does not go away when it's someone who you disagree with doing the shooting. When they're shooting someone you do agree with. So, basically, Paul, you and all of your right-wing media buddies are trying to make liberalism look so scary. Oh no, they're coming for us. What have we ever done that was violent except for that time in 08 and 09 when we said, hey, Obama, he banged around and we had like his robe over his neck and things like that when we were burning him in effigies? Or that time Ted Nugent said he would kill Obama if he got reelected? By the way, Ted, you did a really bad job at that. Just, wow. I'm Ephrom, and good night.